Welcome back. You're watching Financial Planner. It's a very special episode today. We're wrapping up the year and going ahead with the 10 commandments. Now, if you think that your finances need to be whipped up into shape, here's a great time to start on it. Sumit Vaid is here. He's a certified financial planner. He's also a regular guest. Sumit, so let's look at commandment number 5. Thou shalt pay yourself first. What does that mean? Why should I pay myself? What does that mean?
Okay, here's the concept. It's a very interesting concept which talks about that, let's say I'm earning money and I'm also making sure I'm running my household.
Okay.
Now, when I go and do a job, I get paid for that. Running a household is also a job. If you come up with the concept of keeping and looking at that way, you will pay yourself certain amount of money every month. Now, to me, that money is my saving.
Right.
To my budget, that's an expense. It's a forced saving. It's a very interesting way to save money.
A forced saving.
That's right. And forced saving is important because when you articulate your budget, when you articulate a balance sheet at a family level, you'll say, okay, Mr. Sumit Vaid is working within his family and making sure he's doing chores, and for doing that, he needs to get paid X amount of money on a monthly basis. Cut that out, whatever is left, then I'll save. So you are increasing your saving potential by paying off money to you. I'll take you an example. Let's say I'm running my own financial planning practice as a business. You know, it's a separate balance sheet. In that particular business, it's not that I don't get paid salary.
You do get paid.
Yeah, it's my own business, but I'm still getting paid. So same way, running a family, running a home is a business. And you pay yourself a salary for doing the job itself. That increases your saving potential.
That's a great idea. And for all those housewives watching, in fact, or someone who's staying home, like a stay-at-home mom, I think it's a great idea because once you have money coming in, it's like Sumit said, the concept is forced saving. You can give yourself money. It's savings, which you already have plus this.
Yeah,
so it's a great
and
way.
in fact, Smriti, if you go back in history in India, in most of our families, I've seen my mother doing it.
They squirrel away money, they put it away.
Yes, and put it in almirahs or trunks itself, and it comes out at some need. And most of the time, the husband and the father, I never knew if this money was lying outside. So it's a very set practice. Let's formalize it. Let's learn from that.
All right. And now, commandment number 6, thou shalt set financial goals. This is our favorite. We keep talking about it all the time, all through the year, for the last couple of months.
This is classic. I think this is the most important thing in our life, which we need to really set in. What financial goals do to you is set in discipline. And it also somewhere make you become much more of a positive person because, you know, then you look forward to something. You'll see this in India much more often, where many of the people, when they think about something, okay, I want to buy a car, his first reaction is, I can't afford it. Good things don't happen to me in life. It's your attitude, you know. Setting up a financial goal, they impact you first at an attitudinal level with a can-do attitude. I can do it. And then cut a goal, start saving towards it, start investing towards that goal. It will help you manage your emotions, which most of the time result in taking a wrong decision while saving or investment.
Right. It's a great point, actually. In fact, if you listen to a lot of psychologists, they say that, you know, when you feel like your mind is in turmoil, it helps if you maintain a diary and just write down what is it that's troubling you. And more often than not, a lot of people are troubled by money or troubled by the fact that, look, I want to take this great vacation, I want to provide for my family, but I'm not sure if I have the money. So a great opportunity over here would be, you know, to put yourself out of that misery is just sit down, take a piece of pen and paper and say, okay, I want to do this, I want to have that family vacation in September, and here's what I need to do to work towards that goal. I think it's just a great way to put yourself and give yourself a good night's rest is make those financial goals and work through a timetable.
And in any journey, you know, journey of life, journey of achieving wealth, you need to have a direction, right? This sets direction. Let's say if I want to go to you know, Kerala, I need to know where is Kerala, where is the direction for that.
What flight to take?
Yes, what flight to take, what's the direction to go. So setting of financial goals is as important as setting your direction, right?
That's a great way to look at it. All right, now, commandment number 7, thou shalt educate yourself and be responsible for your financial decisions. There are two parts to this, Sumit. One, I want to talk about thou shalt educate yourself. We do know, and I think one of the reasons that the shows receive such great feedback is that we don't know how to tackle money. We don't know how to tackle investments. So here is an opportunity for you to learn how to do it. So how do you think people should, you know, approach learning about money and learning about investment?
I think first and foremost is they need to get conscious about that fact, that knowing and learning about money is a very, very important aspect of their life. It's as important as earning money. Many times we see people focus so much on earning money, but they do not focus about learning about money itself. So earning money is as important, learning money is equally important. So focus on learning money, watching shows like Financial Planner, going on to internet, following Twitter, Facebook, many other so-called information dissemination tools is essential stuff which you need to do. And more than this goes for all of you who are watching us. Please don't feel shy of asking a question.
Yeah, which brings me to my next point is that culturally, I think we're very hesitant about talking about money or saying something like, hey, I want to learn a little bit more about mutual funds, or I don't know anything about mutual funds. I'd like to learn about it. We're very shy and hesitant to talk about this. But I think we need to just change that and say, look, this is my life, my money, and it's a great time for me to learn it. So I'm going to ask questions, read up on magazines, watch shows like Financial Planner, and learn to educate myself. So 2011 is perhaps a great time for you to get started on that and be responsible for your decisions.
Yes, this is big time in India. You know, we get into a very interesting trap of trusting anyone with our money.
Uncles and aunts.
Uncles, aunts, friends. We'll read somewhere too good to be true kind of solutions and we'll go for that. And I think it really comes from our fear of not knowing enough about money. And it's related to point number one, because we are not very keen to learn about money. So we have lack of information, lack of knowledge. Because lack of knowledge, there is no other decision-making criteria other than trusting somebody. And when we trust blindly. So I think you cannot delegate your responsibility of taking care of your money to anybody else, whether it's your financial planner, whether it's your advisor, whether it's your uncle, aunt, and even father, mother who are managing your money. After all, it's your money. You need to be very, very clear. You are responsible for that. And if you go about taking anybody's help, making starkly clear to yourself what is the criteria for choosing that person to take help, what is the qualification, what kind of experience comes, and what has been your personal dealing experience with you. Any doubt you have with any of your financial planner, advisor, or any of your trusted friends, do not go ahead. After all, it's your money and you are responsible.
All right, that brings us to commandment number 8. Thou shalt save and invest.
I just love this. You know, you heard me number of times in this show where I explain the difference between saving and investment.
Right.
Saving is income minus expenses. That means, you know, I get X income, I spend Y, whatever is the difference, that's saving. When you say I invest my money, you are saving for a defined goal, defined rate of return, defined time period, and defined risk. All these things together make savings into investments. India is a great nation of savers. We are very bad in investing. Why? Because most of the time when we save, we do not have a goal, we do not have a time period, we do not know what returns we want, we do not know what kind of risk we are ready to take. So to all our viewers, please take a action this year and take a resolution that we'll work towards converting ourselves from being a saver to an investor.
All right, on that note, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back. You're watching a very special edition of Financial Planner. We're looking at how you should be setting your financial resolutions for the year ahead. So we're going through the list of commandments. Remember, just remember these and hopefully your finances will be whipped back into shape. Commandment number 9, thou shalt protect your finances. So Meet, a lot of us talk about making money, creating wealth, but how important is it to talk about protecting that wealth?
Very, very important, I think, and more so for our kind of country where the growth rate of GDP is going very high, new products are getting launched, and there's still a lack of awareness about them. It becomes much more so important. And when we talk about protection, first and foremost thing which comes in protection is insurance. So we need to get adequately insured. That means we can get adequate insurance if we do not invest in insurance but buy insurance. Whether it's life insurance, we should buy life insurance first. We should make sure we have adequately insured. If in any case untoward events happening, of principal owner not being there, the family is not suffering. That's what life insurance objective is. Investment and tax saving comes second. Second is your medical insurances should be adequate. because medical inflation, which is health related inflation, is really going through skyrocket and keep going on increasing. So if you are really taken care of, that's good. Taking care of your assets, which is house, office, etc., should be insured. Any untoward events or any kind of catastrophe happening, is planned for and taken care of. These are the three basic insurances which you need to plan for and take care of. And again, I'm reiterating, you don't invest in insurance, you buy insurance. Insurance is an expense, should be treated that way.
All right, so you must have insurance. And just to quickly recap, life insurance, medical insurance if you have a home, make sure your home is protected. If you have a business, make sure your business is protected. So let's just not make that wealth, but also learn to protect it. Now, commandment 10 and the last of it all is thou shalt donate to worthy causes and to those who are less fortunate. It's such a great way to look at money, because we always talk about me, me, me.
That's right.
But what if you have enough money? What if your goals are met? In fact, we had a viewer, remember, Sunit, who wrote in, he said, all my goals are met, I have a home, I have a car, I have nothing else to sort of spend my money on. What should I do? And we talked about charity.
Yes. See, while studying in our school, we have this subject known as civics. Actually, this point comes under the civic sense. It is a responsibility for each one of us. And Smriti, to that extent, I'll also even differ by saying that what if, even if I have not achieved my goals, I think still the civic sense inside me should really guide me to go and contribute towards society.
Absolutely.
There are charitable trust organizations which are only looking for minuscule kind of, contributions on an annualized basis to help them achieve objective of education of a girl child, providing food to certain people, or, health care to poor, etc. I think the intent is more important here than the volume or the wealth. And each one of us start contributing, I think our country will really flourish from where we are, and more so in our country where there's so many people who are living below the poverty line. So I think let's make a resolve that each one of us will contribute little bit out of our investments, little bit out of our savings. In fact, we'll have a goal in our financial plan saying, I'll contribute towards my civic society in form of charity.
And it, like you said, it doesn't have to be a very large amount. It has to be just a little bit, not a lot. And that little bit, of course, goes a long way in someone else's life.
That's right.
We ourselves have seen, and it's like a cheap thrill. You go to someone's home, maybe over Diwali or something, they give you $100. Or $200. It's great. You have everything that you need, but it's a little extra something that goes a long way. And so on that note, let's wrap up the show. We hope that you enjoyed it. So 10 commandments over there for you for the year ahead. We hope that you enjoyed watching the show from the entire team here. Thank you and goodbye.